you do want to make these decisions based on the monthly affordability. And if you're going to get a, for example, variable rate, and if the rate, we don't know if the rate's going to go up or down in the future. I know in September everyone's kind of guesstimating a pretty, I mean, some pretty great people are estimating an increase, and I think that's probably where we'll end up heading. Um, you know, but after that, I just saw an article from an economist over at CIBC, and he said he thinks that might be the last one for a little while. So if that's the case, maybe you can save on the purchase price. You get a lower down payment, even though the monthly will be high right now. If rates do come down in the future, then it might actually help you out. So something to think about. But those are definitely the costs between one or the other. So I want to say, give or take, for a similar monthly cost, you're talking about a $200,000 price difference right now. So next one, thinking of listing in January. Should I get photos done now? Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think so. There's two things to this. Number one, I think that obviously, it's sunny outside. The weather's been great. You can get some pretty awesome photos of your property now versus doing that when it is, covered in snow and, dark and gloomy. That's one thing. The other thing to consider is if you get photos done in the summer, you don't necessarily want people to think that the property is stale because it's been, the photos were done before. Now, as realtors, we do get accessibility to see if that property was listed before. So that's something that I think most realtors that are savvy are going to look at it and say, hey, you know what? This is how the property looks in the summertime. It has not been listed for the last 6 months straight. And I think it's a good thing to do. If you're considering, if your timeline is to list, for example, in January, it's not a bad idea to get the photos done now, get the steps done now to get it prepped for January. That also goes for properties with pools. If you are listing a property with a pool and it's going to be in January time, you're going to want to make sure that you get that thing closed properly going into the winter. So you want to make sure that you have, there's companies that you can bring in that will, close it down, blow out the pipes to make sure that, they get the water out and stuff like that, and then that it's closed properly. You get a good report. So that way, if you do have buyers coming through that can't see the pool, of course, because now it's been snowed over, they'll have a nice report that will take care of all that, and it'll have a good rundown of what's been done, or at least hopefully it will, and that way, if buyers are coming through, they can see that you take care of your property and you take care of the pool, and you make sure that it's been closed properly, and that everything in it's up to date. Now, if you're a buyer and you are looking to purchase a property in the wintertime that has a pool, these are steps that your realtor is going to want to take to make sure that the pool is operational, and when it comes to springtime, hopefully you'll be able to just open it up properly and stuff like that. So these are things, if you are getting a property ready to list in the winter time, and you're going to start thinking about it now because the winter is your timeline, these are things to consider, definitely. Next one, okay. Favorite three coffee shops in the west end of Toronto. Yeah, so I have a few cafes that I frequent, usually my go-tos. I mean, I always go to Impact Kitchen. That they're kind of everywhere, so I can't specifically say they're in the West End, but they're kind of everywhere. There's a few awesome locations. They have a coffee subscription, which is amazing. So you just pop in, grab a coffee, and go. And then kind of like one-offs. I mean, not necessarily one-offs. They might have one or two locations. Arvo, awesome cafe. They also have our wine bar. They're amazing. I really love Ideal Coffee up on Ossington is great, and Cafe 23 on Queen. If you've never been there, the backyard is pretty awesome. So the backyard has the, outdoor, it's like a summer terrace kind of thing with leaves and trees and all that stuff. It's pretty cool. So definitely something, definitely sorry, definitely three cafes I would want to be checking out if you are in the west side of Toronto. Now, as far as coffee at home, I usually kind of go through either of them and buy my beans from there to make it home too. And my preferred coffee machine is a Breville Barista Express, and I use that thing quite often. So that's it. Three quick questions today. Well, kind of four if we factor in getting the property ready for winter setups. So anyway, as we progress here into the fall, looks like the leaves are starting to change. We'll see what comes up in the market. We're seeing stuff's been picking up lately, so we're definitely not seeing the prices that we saw in February, but we're still seeing action, which I think is something that is pretty welcome in the fall, and it's pretty standard as people come back from vacation and start checking out properties again. So have a great Wednesday, enjoy your day, and we'll see you next week on our lives.